Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. So in this video, I'm working on another Project Life process spread, and I'm going to be using Ali Edwards' Stories by the Month kit from September. It's so crazy to me that we're already working with September products, but I have to tell you, September, October are some of my most favorite months of the year. So let me just do a run through really quickly of what was coming in the kit. So we have the cards, which I will go through as I'm putting them down on my layout. We have a chipboard set, which I was so pleased to find out that they are cutting through like they used to. And then there is a label set right here. Got stuck with the cards. So this is a label set, just a sticker label. So these will be really great to use either on this layout or another one. I'm digging the colors big time. And then the other thing that came with this kit are these around here. I guess they are embroidered words. They're on fabric. I love that they're, I kind of wish that there were 5 of them, but that's okay. Sorry that there is a little blurry there, but it says around here, which I love that prompt for telling stories in Project Life. And then I have my photos. The one thing that I noticed that they didn't have in the kit this time were stamps, and I don't know if that is something that I just misplaced or what, or it didn't end up in my kit, but I did not have a stamp set, so that I am aware of. So I will not be using that today, but let's just go ahead and get started. I'm just going to kind of set some of these things aside, and I'm going to go start with my photos like I normally do, and I will kind of speed through this process. All right, so first of all, I just wanted to make sure that you are all aware that there is a 3x4 stamp set that comes in the Stories by the Month kit, and mine just happened to not be included. Sometimes some items are held up for one reason or another, and because we're getting the kits earlier than everyone else just because of marketing purposes, sometimes some things end up getting left out. And that was one of them. So there is a stamp set. I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. And I believe it's actually on the way. So hopefully I will be able to use that soon in my September storytelling. All right. So just jumping into what I'm actually doing on the screen, which is placing my photos down. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want the photos to go. And I don't really think too much about like, this was Monday, this was Tuesday. It's mostly how it feels. I just kind of do everything on how it feels. You can also see as I was going through those 3x4 cards that I only ended up choosing a couple. And I did that because for this one specifically, I was thinking that I wanted to create my own 3x4 cards and use the prompt around here. So I loved that fabric around here embellishment piece that came in the kit. And I thought that that would be really great to repeat that element on several different cards. And so that is my plan. And you'll see that coming up exactly how I'm going to choose to use that. I'm going to use a fun tool that I really, really love, but I will show that coming up. So I'm continuing to move things around because I'm trying to figure out how much room and space I want to have for my stories. Do I need that currently learning card? Do I want to have 4 journaling cards? Like, what is it? How many stories do I want to tell? What stories do I want to tell? And vice versa. I feel like with my journal, I can easily go back to 2020 and look what was happening that week. And so then I have like so many stories, and you can't really tell all of the stories from one week. So I'm really just trying to hone into what stories do I really want to highlight and get told from this week. And it's interesting looking at it from the perspective of, 2021 when I've already lived it. And now there's almost a year past. I know that I'm no longer living in Seattle. I know that my daughter's, crossing my fingers, going to be going to school this fall in person. So I'm trying to think of what is it during this time period that I really want to remember? And it is, I want to remember that she was in person. I want to remember that that was really hard for her, that she did not like it, that she struggled to meet kids. I know that this is not the most glamorous story, I would say. It's sort of heart-wrenching. I really want to make sure that I'm telling the good and the bad from our life. I don't want to paint this rosy picture that everything was great and everything was amazing when there was a lot of struggle there. I think that some of those harder stories are a part of who we are and a part of who we become later on. And so it'd be such a tragedy not to include those into our scrapbooking and into our memory keeping. So that's just a really big reminder to all of us to include the good and the hard as we are telling the stories from our life. So I just wanted to hop back on here and talk a little bit about what I'm doing right now. So I would say one of my most favorite tools right now, and you probably don't know it because I don't use it a lot in my scrapbooking, but I am definitely using it a lot when I'm making cards, and that is the FoilPress. And I guess it would come to no surprise because the FoilPress actually reminds me, well, it's the same technology as the foil quill. So the foil quill uses heat to press down an image onto your paper, and that's exactly what this is doing. It's using heat to press the foil down onto the paper, but instead of the foil quill, which is kind of writing it out, right, with that small piece of metal, it's using a plate. So it's very similar technology, and I absolutely love this, mostly because I'm a huge fan of letterpress, and it reminds me so much of letterpress, but instead of pressing in ink, you're pressing in foil. So much fun. I would totally recommend this machine for anyone who is interested in the foil quill. I think a lot of companies now are coming out with more plates for you to use. So I just feel like there's more variety out there now if you are looking to invest. So in order to do this, you need a couple of things. You're going to need the foil press, and then you're going to need the Gemini Junior. So this is the system that I am using, but let's say you have the Spellbinders foil press. The Spellbinders then would go with the Spellbinder die cut machine. So it uses the same thing. It needs heat plus a plate with the foil, and then you need the pressure to transfer the foil, to transfer the design of the foil onto the paper. So hopefully that makes sense. It's basically what the foil quill is doing, but the foil quill is using a small piece of metal to use the heat that's in the foil quill to press the image onto the paper. So this is just using the plate. So I thought that I would play around with this a little bit today. This has actually gotten pretty hot. I'm thinking that maybe I need to turn it down a little bit. I had that on medium and I'm like, that is not feeling right to me. So I do have a video that I did on my YouTube channel, gosh, I would say a couple years ago when I first got this machine. I use this a lot when I'm making cards, and this is one of my favorite, I guess I would say, plate kits, where it's got a lot of different sentiments for cards, like just for you, thinking of you, hello there, best wishes, just a note, thank you. This is one of my favorites. This is from Spellbinders. And of course, if any of these items are available, I will have it linked below. This is also, if I did not mention this yet, this is also from Spellbinders. This came in one of their monthly kits that I was getting for a while there. I'm not sure if this is available. So I'm so sorry that I'm using this product, but I will link it below if it is available, if I can find it on their website, because oftentimes they will bring back these items so people can purchase even if they're not doing the kits. Anyway, if you do not have this machine, if you do not have plates, you can definitely do this using stamps. So you'll see the way I'm going to design these cards, and then you could just go ahead and use a circle stamp, use any kind of shape stamp, use a, what would you call it? Use a pattern stamp, anything that you have that you think would work really well with this design. So I've actually pulled over two colors. I've got the gold and I've got the red, just because I'm not sure. There was red here in my daughter's shirt, and I think I was wearing kind of a reddish orange shirt. But then I also brought the gold because, you know, this is pretty creamy. But the only reason I hesitated is because I think that this gray around here, which is what I'm going to pair it with, I think that would do better with the red. I just am not sure if I want that much red, pops of red in my layout. That's why I chose the gold. I was thinking silver because I don't think this looks as good together, but I think this silver would not look good with all of the like creamy cards. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I think I'll do one of each and then decide from there. So when you're doing this, you just need to be really careful because this surface does get quite hot. You can feel free to wear gloves if you want. That's probably best practice, but here, you know, you're watching me do it and I'm not. So I'm not being a very good example. I do apologize for that. All right, so I'm just gonna take some of this foil and trim it. And if I wanted to kind of be exact here, it's probably a little too much, but there you go. So the one thing when it comes to doing this foil is you want to make sure that the foil is facing up because you're pressing that foil down in. So it feels a little bit reverse of some other things that you would be transferring, but you just want to make sure you put your paper down. Actually, we're going to flip this over now that I'm remembering, right? We want to have the foil down on this so it's getting warm. So let's redo this, shall we? Pull that off. Sorry, I'm trying to do everything one-handed here. All right, so I'm gonna move this aside so we got better light here. One thing that I did learn as I've been trying to learn and understand, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the best way I want this to go. When I've been, you know, learning how to use this system is Yanis Makula. If you've heard of her, she's a card maker and she's brilliant. She's got beautiful cards. And she came up with this Hinge system, which I've never forgotten because it, like when you're making cards, you want your foil to be in a very specific place, right? I don't know that it's so necessary here, but I think it's still helpful nonetheless. So get some washi tape, something that's not too tacky. And then what we're going to do is we want to make sure that the foil is facing, the shiny side is going to be up, right? So the shiny side is going to be touching the plate because the plate is going to push, the plate's going to push the foil shape, right, onto it. So it needs to be facing up. Okay. So, and that is okay that some is hanging off there. I'm thinking it probably will press onto that. So I might want to get a scratch paper, and I think I will. In fact, what you want to do is now that you've got it on like this, you're going to face it down like this, and you're going to start, I'm going to get some paper while this is warming up. So we are going to do 20 seconds with the heat, and I'm going to hit start, and it's going to start counting down, and it's going to heat up my metal. And I'm going to put a scratch piece of paper here, just so this foil does not get transferred onto my sheet here. But I will have to cut it here and here. Okay. Now that the metal is good and hot, just want to double check. I'm going to stick on my plate and I'm going to pull it off. Again, remember, this is really hot. It's not necessarily hot right here on the handle, but this is very hot, right? Well, this actually isn't too hot, but this is pretty hot. Make sure my press is on, and I'm going to put it through the Gemini. You can kind of hear when it grabs. All right, and then I'm just going to put it back on because I'm going to do that a couple more times. All right, so let's pull all this out. You can kind of see that it transferred there, and that looks so good. This is always, always, always my favorite part in a project. Look how good that looks. That transfer is so great, and it has this hint of letterpress, which is my absolute favorite. So just be careful when you remove the tape. I think that looks so good. And so this is my idea then, to have the around here kind of off to this side. I'm wondering if I wanted to have this more off to the side. I can't decide about that. The placement is, I wish it was a little like, I'm trying to figure out if I like that or if I want the circle to be more on the edge. All right, so I'm also going to do a red one because I want to see what that would look like. And I will say that there is a lot of good foil right here on the sides. And so I'm actually going to cut it off because I could use this for other projects. Like I said, I use this a lot with the, with little small sentiments. So keep every scrap, right? And there actually is ways to use this part of it. And I'm going to show you that probably in another video, but it's super cool. All right, so another card. I decided to speed this up just to save you guys on some time since you were able to see the gold one in real time. So I am doing this on my table where I'm putting the paper down, then the foil, then the metal, because I really love the hinge method, because the hinge method allows me to see exactly where my design is going to be. And that is particularly helpful when I'm making a card and I'm not like cutting it out. I could see if you are cutting out your design, how you could just put it anywhere on the piece of paper and it wouldn't really matter. But because I want the design to be in a very specific place, that's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. You can put down the plate first and then the foil and then the paper. If you want to build it right onto the foil press, you could definitely do that. You just want to make sure that the shiny part of the metal is facing the plate so that you're able to transfer it on correctly onto the paper. So that's the most important thing. Oh, it's so good, you guys. Okay, so there is a little bit of a mistake here. And let me show you. It cut off right here. You can see the indentations. I don't know if you can see it on the video. I think you can, maybe. But I did not get my foil all the way down, and so it didn't go all the way down. That wouldn't bother me for a project like this. I don't think I would redo it. Not for something like this. And, it appears that maybe it was supposed to be like that. All right, so now that I've got this done, I've got 2 of them done, I'm going to set this aside. All right, so the reason why I'm kind of stopping my progress right now and going back to my actual project is because I want to see if I like the gold better or if I like the red better or if I like a combination of both. So like I said earlier, I just wasn't sure if I wanted, all the same color or if I felt like that would just be too much red. I wasn't sure if I would like the gold with the gray. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to, come back to it, look at it. So then I would know how many gold or how many red or whatever. So I do figure out as I'm looking at this that those two cards that have the chipboard, so the one, in the bottom left and then the one in the top right, I decide that it would be fun to have this foil press behind those as well. So I think I end up making 5 cards in total, and I will show you that process. I am going to speed through it, but I will show you that. You can see that I'm kind of trying to decide if I liked red there or if I liked the gold pressed down into there. And I decided to use that card specifically because I think I end up doing more. I decided that I wanted to do more of the design centered in the card instead of off to the side. So you'll see that as I work through it. I'm just bringing everything back on to the screen. I needed to go cut a few more pieces of cardstock also. So I'm going to bring over the actual set that this came in because, and I'll do that in just a minute. Actually, I should talk about this first before I talk about the set. I actually make a mistake here. So yeah, a couple mistakes as you're working through things, which is totally normal, right? Here's the set. You can see the set. And I guess this is where I change it up. So the set has pluses and it also had some like rounded rectangles and then it had some triangles. So I thought here I was going to be saving myself on time so I didn't have to put that little piece of paper up at the top. But you'll see after I put this through the press or the Gemini Junior that when I bring it out and I look at it, there's a lot of overfoiling. And I'm getting that because I ended up putting the foil below the plate. So it was pressing into the paper when I put it through the Gemini Junior. So you could kind of see an example of what I was doing just there. So doing that hinge method does really help for a variety of reasons. And that's because you're not going to have the foil underneath the plate so that it's going to create any overfoiling on your project. So that's another reason why I'm going to go ahead and say that I love that hinge method so that I'm not getting any overfoiling onto my paper. So once I realized my mistake, I went ahead and I corrected it, and you'll see that it ended up pressing out perfect and awesome. All right, so let's go back to this actual set that I'm using. I did mention I would look for it, and if it was available, I would let you know. And sure enough, it is available on Spellbinder's website, which is awesome. And it is for sale. So if this is something you want to invest in, if you like what this looks like and how you could use it, I think that they have a really cute example on their website of how they've used it. I think this is a really fun set and could be used for a variety of things. And they do have different designs. So they have the plus and then the triangle, which you saw me use. And then they have like kind of like a rounded rectangle. And I like that one as well. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it actually is available. I will have it linked below, and it is on sale. It's like half off, which is really, really awesome. So maybe that means it looks like it's on clearance. So maybe when it's sold out, it's sold out. But maybe that means they're having like other things on clearance. So if you've got the foil press, or Spellbinders calls theirs the Glimmer Hot Foil. So if you've got the Glimmer Hot Foil, that might be something that you want to look into just so that you can get more plates for your machine. All right, so now I'm back on my desk and I'm gonna throw down the cards and put them where I want them. So I've got 2 red and 3 gold, and I've also got the plus and the triangle. So, I'm just trying to make it, like I said, I always go by feel, right? So whatever just feels right, I want to do that. And just a heads up, while I was working on this portion, I actually ran out of footage and I didn't realize. And so what you ended up missing is me adding all of the chipboard down and then adhering the around here and then finishing off that card that I'm working on. So you can see that now I am jumping back in. This is actually a little bit later in the day because I had to leave for something. And then I'm coming back and I'm just going to finish my journaling. That's really the last thing that I need to do. So I do apologize that it got cut off there a little bit, but I promise you didn't miss any of the good stuff. So I'm just writing out all of the stories from that week. I ended up including a story of my two girls that were in Utah on one of the pages. You know, even though they're not with us, it is what was going on for them. So I wanted to make sure to include that. And then on this, the currently learning card, I was thinking about doing numbers, but I felt like I had so many stories that I told that I was just wanted to highlight a couple more. So I ended up doing some brush lettering and then writing in the remainder of the story. So this one right here is about Marco Polo. Are you guys using that Marco Polo? Because this app saved me when it came to last year. It definitely saved me in terms of connecting with other people since I felt so isolated in Seattle. And it still continued to save me. It's definitely, I would say, my most used app right now. So anyway, you guys, that is it for this spread and the first of two using the September Stories by the Month kit. So I will have another one coming up probably next week where you can see how I used the remainder of the kit. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Like always, it means the world to me. I would really appreciate a thumbs up if you like what you saw. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.